You're listening to the Crew Book Club podcast, the show that challenges you to change your mindset through hearing about dope books. Thanks for hanging with the crew to get advice, ask questions, and gain knowledge with me, your host, Sade Hill. What up, crew? What's good? It's your girl, Sade, ready for another episode of the Crew Book Club podcast, where I read the books you should read, but don't have the time to. So let's get into it. As we start every episode off with our segment, Who Gon Check Me Boo? God is. He is always checking us to keep us what? In check. Okay? If anybody gonna check me, I prefer God to check me first. All right. And you already know, I just talked about this on the YouTube experience. I always talk to YouTube a little bit before I get on the mic. And I was talking about controlling my time with my thoughts and it not being knowing my willpower too and coming in and just doing it. Because if you go back and watch, I was struggling. When I got home, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to go upstairs and retouch up my makeup before I get on this camera. And then I was like, no, because if I go upstairs and start doing something else, then I'm going to get distracted and I'll be wasting time. And then I was just like, yeah, but I was telling myself, girl, you look a hot mess. You don't need to go on camera looking a hot mess. And then I was just like, no, thoughts. I don't look a hot mess. Yes, I might be missing a little lipstick. Yes, I might be missing a little powder, but that's okay. What I do know is if I go upstairs and do all those things, I could be wasting valuable time and losing more willpower before I get onto this mic. Okay, because this does take amount of energy. So that ties in to the Who Gon Check Me Boo moment, because the title comes from the devotional journal Whispers of Hope. And the title is Controlling Your Thoughts. And this is from March 29th date. And the scripture that came with it was 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 6. And it's humble yourselves, therefore, under God's mighty hands, that he may lift you up in due time. And it read in the passage I underlined, your mind has many routes, scenarios, and maps stored in your subconscious about all those experiences from your past. You don't even remember these, but your mind uses exact maps to determine your behavior here and now unless you deliberately intervene. Exclamation point. Deliberately intervene. If we don't continually establish new God-honoring thought patterns in our minds, we will be the victims of our own stereotypes or even of destructive thoughts. The destructive thought I was telling myself before I got on camera was I was not pretty enough to not have on powder and lipstick to get on this camera. But thank God I've practiced intervening with my thoughts and speaking power into myself. And it may seem small, but it starts small. Once you're able to control the small thoughts, you're going to be able to control the bigger thoughts. And then connecting with God and honoring his child. I'm his child, and I'm going to honor me by knowing how God would speak to me. I think we need to get back to, before we speak or take action, what would Jesus do? You remember the wristbands? That's where I feel like we need to get back to. So check your disruptive thoughts, and you have to deliberately is an action word. This is something that you have to do. Okay? It's not just something you wake up and can be able to do. This is something that you're going to wake up and be perfect at doing. This is something that you have to continually practice and be deliberate when it comes to checking your thoughts when those negative things come in. So control your thoughts, and at the same time, humble yourself under God's mighty hand that he will lift you up in due time. All right. So that was Who Gon Check Me Boo? God is. He is always checking us. And another thing that keeps me in check is therapy. And thank you to BetterHelp, the partner of this episode. And you get 10% off your first month of professional therapy. BetterHelp.com/crewlove. That's better, HELP.com/crewlove. The link is in the show notes. And this is not only just for adults. You can have your kids sign up for this. You know, kids stay attached to their phone. They might as well be doing therapy on it too. I met a lady the other day who was struggling with something with her kid, and she was like, I can't get him to go to therapy. So I referenced her to the BetterHelp, because you may not get him to go to therapy, but you can bring therapy to them. And as a parent, you have full control. Just like we take them to the dentist, to the doctor if they're sick. If you notice that your child is struggling with something mentally, put it in front of them and make them sit. You know what I'm saying? There's some times where you got to make things happen that's going to protect your kids and your family. And I appreciate how BetterHelp allows you to change therapists if you need to. They work with you financially if you're having a financial struggle, because therapy is so important. All right? So definitely check that out. Now, I want to thank you guys for the crew love. Thanks for sharing, reposting, and all those things online. But for your girl, for the crew to grow, I'm asking you to please leave a 5-star rent review on the Apple Podcast. Okay, even if you don't have Apple, grab your friend, sister, cousin phone and leave a rent review. And if you leave the rent review, I will say it on the pod. Okay? All right. So this week, I'm only focusing on one chapter. And it's chapter 6 of our book, We Should All Be Millionaires by Rachel Rodgers. And the chapter is $1 Million Vision. Okay? And I'm only doing one chapter because there's so much juice in this chapter, and I don't want to skip over it. I really want to take our time to talk about this $1 Million vision. Okay? And even coming out the gate, it has the quote by Maya Angelou: if one is lucky, a solitary fantasy can totally transform 1 million realities. Vision, baby. Vision, vision, vision. Okay. On page 101, she talks about how does money make you feel? Okay. And it's like, feeling states are better determinants of our success outcomes than the numbers. Emotions like compassion, gratitude, and healthy degree of pride in yourself lead to success. Okay, you know, you gotta feel rich to get rich. It's about how you feel. And it doesn't always have to be a financial thing. And so we're gonna look in that too. And it can be associated with doing things at a certain level to what you can afford to do. So I like how she makes it available to everybody. One of the ways that she did was she invested in a wardrobe that made her feel fabulous, and it doesn't have to cost a fortune. I can go right now to Target. It's times that I used to could only really go to Goodwill regularly and find clothes, and people would think I was spending buku money on clothes, and I'm like, no, these are secondhand from Goodwill, and I would strategically go on the days where it was an extra 50% off the tag because it was color coded. Yeah. Let me tell you, Goodwill can be your friend. And if you're walking and exuding with confidence, you can make something look $1 million. And have y'all ever seen people who actually own designer, but they be looking a hot mess? Okay, so it's not about how much something costs. It's about how you make it look. Okay. It also stated, she said, I started to experiment with other ways to feel like a $1 million badass every day. Simple things like taking a real lunch break, sitting on the patio in the sun for a few minutes. Pause real quick. So taking a real lunch break is so important. And even as a realtor, like, I used to have this, I'll eat in the car every now and then recently, but one of my focus this year was to feel like $1 million while I'm stuffing food down my mouth and rushing to eat in my car. Let me go. Even if I park at a park, or if I do eat, I'm not eating and driving. My daughter would tell you, we will go through Chick-fil-A and I will park, eat my food, and then drive. Okay? And chew my food, enjoy my food. So those are ways of feeling like $1 a simple way to elevate yourself. Okay. All right. So walk into your favorite neighborhood coffee shop for a latte and a croissant. She brought a new novel to enjoy herself and actually read it. Started getting up early to go to the gym. These inexpensive or free lifestyle upgrades made me feel, and when I felt good, I was more likely to take on tasks that would help me to make more money. It says, it doesn't matter how outlandish, outrageous, and downright insane it seems, as long as it's your dream, not the one society tells you to have, but the one your heart desires. Don't let what you see on social media predict what you think your heart should desire. Sit in that, see what you naturally gravitate to, and do your thing, okay? On page 103, it says, your vision should be big, hairy, audacious, and mindful. On page 103, it's pronounced as BHAG. It should be clear and compelling goal that serves as unifying focal point of effort and acts as a clear catalyst for team spirit. It's a goal that has a clear finish line so you know when you have and achieve the goal. And it's one that you have a 50% to 70% chance of achieving. It's not something too outlandish, and it's highly unlikely that you will ever achieve it, but it's definitely something you'll have to stretch yourself to make happen. And that's okay. It's one of those things where you put something really, really big and you strive to get there. And even though it may not happen, you got further than where you were before you try to achieve that particular dream. Okay. It says here, your thoughts about what you are capable of can hold back your capabilities. When you set a big goal, you jolt yourself out of your self-imposed limitations and become more mindful. When we set a big executing vision for our lives, we are making a mindful choice to stop living on autopilot and go after exactly what we want. Okay? I love that. So she also has on page 105 through 107 how to live like a millionaire. And she was like, here you identify the upgrades that will help you practice more $1 million behavior. Ask yourself in each following arenas, what upgrades could help you give more time, energy, joy, power, and peace. That is a $1 million mindset. It doesn't start at the bank account. Okay. It could be how do you find energy, joy, power, and peace in your home, in your physical space, in travel. And when I say travel, you don't always have to be going to Tulum. Okay. It could be, I'm living here in Jacksonville. It could literally be driving down to Key West, something that's tangible, or going to Savannah, something that's not too far from you, but it's a destination. You could do a staycation, get a hotel like at the beach or your closest beach or something like that. Transportation, education, wardrobe, saving and investment, self-care, daily habits, giving community contributions, household work, hired help. 2, run the numbers, revisit each category above and estimate how much money per month it will cost you to make these upgrades. For example, to move to a larger home in a nicer neighborhood costs $1,500 per month, more than you're currently paying in a mortgage payment. Do what you need to do to figure that out. And that way you can create a new target income from yourself because you know what you need to make yourself feel more like $1 million and to upgrade. Step 3, brainstorm money-making moves, okay? And remember, this is how to live like a millionaire. Now that you know how much you need to earn in order to make all the upgrades you want, find 25 ideas bringing in extra cash. She had here are a few to start with. Create a side hustle doing something you enjoy and your neighbors need, like tutoring, babysitting, organizing, tax planning, lawn mowing. Rent out a room in your house. I don't like that. It was an episode on this Netflix show where this lady was renting out her room and their car, where people started to stay there. and then stop paying rent, and then they take over the house, and then you can't just kick them out. I can't think of the name, but I don't know about the rent a room. But anywho, have a garage sale. Sell your designer goods that you no longer use. You know what stuff you don't wear in the past few months or during the winter season that you wear every time. You have stuff that you can sell. Create a new offer, an art piece, your professional service, or those delicious cupcakes. We all have a skill that we could sell. And email everyone you know asking if they're interested. You know, that's how she launched her law practice. Call the people you owe, who owe you money and ask them to pay up. Okay? Y'all probably have plenty investments out there. Charge them interest. Step 4, commit to your first upgrade. Okay, this is where you take action. Once one upgrade you can make, one thing you can change that will really up-level your power and peace and give you some time and energy for $1 million behaviors. Commit to that one upgrade right now and set a deadline by which the upgrades will be executed. When I read this book, mine was laundry, outsourcing laundry, and I currently do that. It's $25 a week based on my pounds. It's 99 cents a pound. She wash, dry, fold, and hang, baby. And all I got to do is come home. I use 10 minutes of my time to put this stuff away. And actually, I kind of want to, you want to come put it away? Because it'd be folded so perfectly. But anywho, that was one of the things that I did. And y'all, it wasn't an expensive thing. It was literally $25. So find what you do, what you want to do, and take action for your first upgrade. Okay. So that was ways on how to live like a millionaire. All right. On page 1, on 108, it says, when you do not grow up with different examples of what success can look like, it can be hard to dream. See, one of your friends or colleagues accomplished something and it makes you feel jealous. Follow the inkling. Explore that desire. Your desires will help you birth your ideal life. So if you see something that excites you or makes you a little jelly, you know when you get like, how do I do it? Explore that. Don't just side-eye them. See what they're doing. Talk to them. Maybe they'll share. Some people will, some people won't. Maybe you need to watch from afar. But engage with the people who are sharing and living a life you desire to live. And that can inspire you, not copycat. There's a difference. Inspire you. Take what you can take from that and learn from them and not be jelly. Our culture says, and she's saying this, our culture says that women's desires is very dangerous. Historically, women have been punished for their desires, wanting sex, wanting food, wanting money. These are all things in which our society has punished women. We shame women for gaining weight. We shame mothers for working too much and caring too much about their careers. And the worst thing that we think could happen to a woman is that she would become a stripper and use her powerful body to make money. The ongoing punishment for our desires has trained us not to want. Okay? So I want you to take away stop concerning yourself about what society wants. Embrace your desires and figure it out. Now, I'm going to put a little sprinkle, not even a sprinkle. I'm gonna dump a little God on it. The desires that you have, go to God first and make sure they align with His will. And then He's gonna give you the vision to apply those desires, to accomplish those desires, okay? So let's get into page, I love this. Where did it go? Oh, wait, before I go to this, page 112, it says, the goal is for you to engage in behaviors that make you feel like $1 million bucks. Do things that make you feel emotionally rich, okay, powerful, inspired, energized, so that you can become financially freedom. It's all connected. And then I love how she has these 25 ways to be her right now. And I was proud of myself. Out of the 25 from reading this book, I have one of them that I'm really focusing on. And I said I wanted to do it by the end of the year. Okay. But I'll give you a few. 25 ways to be her right now. You can begin to be the woman you want to become. All right, declutter your home and workspace. Less clutter immediately makes things feel more luxurious. Invest in one bottle of perfume. Keep your phone out of your bedroom. Okay, create spa vibes with scented candle, incense, and aromatherapy. Get a wellness plan together. Commit to it. Slow down when you eat. Savor your food. Let your shoulders sink down and enjoy the moment. Okay. What was another one? Create $1 million moment for yourself at least once a day to remind yourself that you can have nice things. This moment can be reading a book, listen to the Crew Book Club podcast, watching the sunset, or taking a little extra time to style your hair to feel your best. Okay, there are so many different ways. Another one, speak to yourself like you love and admire and respect yourself. Those are ways that you could be doing to feel like $1,000,000. Okay, and I'm gonna end with these 3 recaps. She says, my friend, we've been on a quite journey together. We've talked about why it's important for you to shoot for becoming millionaire instead of just settling for 6 figures. Okay, we talked about the stories you tell yourself that hold you back and how to reframe them into your thoughts and stories that serve you. We talked about the lies we've been told by the media, our government, and society. We explored how to start making $1,000,000 decisions instead of broke ass decisions. We looked at your weak ass boundaries and turned them into $1,000,000 boundaries. We assembled your $1,000,000 squad to support you as you build your empire. We weaved out all together into a beautiful $1,000,000 vision for your life. Now that we've got your $1,000,000 behavior on lock, you are ready for your $1,000,000 roadmap. Next week, you guys, we'll be getting into part 2 of this book where we will work through the steps and changes you need to make in order to make $1,000,000. She says, don't be scared. You got this. And I admire and I'm here to guide you. Let's get to the shmoney. Okay, so if you go back and listen to the previous episodes, we touched on all of these things. Okay, so now that we have the behaviors, all right, now we're going to get into the roadmap. And I always tell y'all, to know where you're going, you have to check yourself first. And I love how she prepared this book for us. So make sure you guys tune in next week because we'll be diving into part 2 of the book, starting with chapter 7, the $1,000,000 value. And then also chapter 8, $1,000,000 pricing. Okay, so make sure you come back for that next week. I'm sorry, I hit the mic. All right, now, I can't let y'all go without giving you a challenge of the week because we the crew and we about that action. You hear me? So I want to talk about make it make sense. All right. And it's inspired by page 100. It was the beginning of chapter 6, $1,000,000 Vision. And it says here, she says, so I decided to make it real by calculating the actual cost of my dream lifestyle. I got out my laptop and a calculator and looked up what my monthly mortgage on a $2.7 million house would cost, which is, at the time she did, it was $12,000 per month. And then she decided, that's not how much she want to pay for a mortgage. And so she went back and she said, I'll do $1,000,000 with $5,000 per month. And she looked at the cost of her extracurricular activities, the car she wanted, the vacation she wanted to take, hiring a nanny, housekeeper, personal trainer, pay her mom's rent, other investments. And so she added all that up together of the lifestyle she wanted to live. And it ended up being $23,000 per month, and which totaled out to about $300,000 per year. She was like, she got to brainstorming ideas to increase her income significantly, and then she was open to any and all ways she could use her skills and experience to generate more income. Okay, so the challenge this week is to make it make sense. The lifestyle that you want to live, grab your sheet of paper. The things that you want. For me, I want a chef. I want a nanny. I want a housekeeper. I don't need a personal trainer. I'm self-motivated there. I do want to invest. So for you, add up those costs. See how much that is. And then part 2 of it, if you want to go the extra mile, know what your skills are. Find out how you can take those skills and apply it to making the $1 million lifestyle that you want to live. Okay? I challenge you to do that. That's your challenge this week. Make it make sense. Okay? And if you want to share, I would love to see your plan. Putting it out there in the atmosphere holds you accountable. So you can email at thecrewbookclub@gmail.com if you would like to share your make it make sense. And I want to see what y'all goals are. And don't measure how you think society. Think about what you want. Everybody don't want the $1 million house. Somebody might, I just want a $350,000 house. I don't need all of that. Somebody might be like, I don't need the chef, the nanny, and this and that and the other. I want to be able to travel. Look up the places that you want to go. Price out the hotel, the flight, and everything. Yeah, sprinkle a little bit on top because, inflation. But make it make sense financially so then you know how much money you need to make to be able to live the lifestyle you want to live. Okay? All right, so for what would the crew do? I was actually out and I was telling somebody what I do and how they were like, how can I get on a podcast? And I was like, you can ask me a question and I'll mention on the pod because they don't read books. And I was like, you cannot come on my podcast if you don't read no books. Or if you're not in relation, like if you're not bringing value to my audience, like I'm not going to bring out anybody. And they was like, okay, well, I'll ask you a question. Like, what are your favorite activities to do on Saturdays outside of real estate and your podcast? And honestly, which they're waiting for me right now, is to spend time with my family. I love spending time with them and I like to rest. And I like watching TV. I love movies. I like stuff like that. I like closing all of my blinds, making it as dark as possible, and watch movies and eat. Real chill Saturdays with the fam. Every now and then may do something adventurous, but I do a lot during the week. And to be able to just digress a little bit, Saturdays for real estate can be open house and be packed. But in those moments that I do have a Saturday off, I just enjoy being in the house. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. And another reason is because I exude so much energy into the things that I do, and I pour into a lot of people, whether it's through real estate, whether it's just being out. Giving energy in what I do can be exhausting. So yeah, the moment that I get to regroup is great. And people crazy on Saturdays. They don't know how to drive. So I don't like driving with everybody out on the road. All right. So thank you for tuning in, and thank you. I can't remember the person's name, but thank you for asking the question. All right. So y'all already know I'm going to leave y'all with the quote of the week. The quote of the week comes from our author, Rachel Rodgers, and it is on page 104. When we set a big, exciting vision for our lives, we are making a mindful choice to stop living on autopilot and go after exactly what we want. All right, crew, go out and change your world. Stop living on autopilot and go after exactly what you want. Come back right here on the Crew Book Club podcast on Monday. I will holler at y'all later. Hey! Want to be a part of the crew? Hit that follow button so you'll never miss an episode. And while you're at it, I would appreciate you showing crew love by rating the show on iTunes and Spotify. Don't keep all this goodness to yourself. Share and tell a friend so your whole crew can be growing with you. Let me be the first to tell you, welcome to the crew.